Hey there, it's Danielle Smith. So, here's a fun topic: airline travel. Airline travel with kids, more specifically. I am fairly certain that you and I could fill a good hour's worth of video just on this topic alone, because everyone has an opinion. There are some of you who think that families should have their own section on a plane so that families who are traveling with kids are sitting in one section, and travelers who are traveling without kids won't have to hear kids who are screaming, and the kids will be kicking each other's seats and all that good stuff. Now, there are also single travelers who don't mind sitting by kids. There are also people who think parents with kids should get on board an airline first. And there are those who don't think they should be allowed that privilege. There are people who always, when I was traveling with my kids, were the first to jump up and help me carry anything on board. My kids have been traveling since they were 6 weeks old. They are now 6 and 8. And I can only think of one time that my daughter's ears were really affecting her and she cried and it was bothersome. And I can safely tell you that there was no one on that flight who wanted my daughter to stop crying more than me. Because not only as her mother was it painful for me, I certainly detested enduring the dirty looks that were directed towards me as though there was something I was doing to keep it going. And I see it happen all the time. Parents who have kids crying. So let's talk about it this way, because, airlines are now, in my opinion, making it even a bit more challenging for families to sit together and to get on board. I can remember a number of years ago expecting to pre-board and being told that a certain airline didn't allow families to pre-board anymore because it would be rude to their other passengers. And it was a huge challenge for me to get on board with all of my stuff and make my way in between all the other passengers. Okay, fair enough. Well, now, there are airlines who are charging for you when you book your ticket to actually set up a seat assignment. Okay, so there is a bill that has been introduced this month that would make airlines responsible to the best of their ability for making sure that families can sit together. Let's be realistic. Me, my husband, my two small people, 6 and 8. Should my 6 and my 8-year-old be traveling by themselves? Should my 4 and my 6-year-old, if they were younger, be sitting by perfect strangers? That's horrendous. Okay, now your argument may be, well, Danielle, you didn't book your flight soon enough. In some cases, for some people, maybe that's the problem. But I know that I've actually had issues with seat assignments when I booked my flight 6 months in advance and I just wasn't given the opportunity to pick my seat assignments. We book our flights, they tell us we'll get them when we get to the airport. We get to the airport, they say go to the gate. We go to the gate, and it's a massive shuffle. More often than not, they make it happen, but I have been the parent that's been standing on the plane while they've asked people to change seats. Well, if you are a passenger who is on board and you want the window or you want the aisle, you don't want to give up your seat for me to sit by my kids. I get that. And maybe you've paid for a premium seat. Well, if the airline's asking you to accommodate me, should they be gifting you in some fashion? Well, I think they should. But I also think that if I booked my flight 6 months in advance, I should have been given seats by my family right then. Why is that an issue? And why should I be charged an additional fee at that time? I do, in fact, think that's ridiculous. I think when I book my flight, unless I'm booking at the last minute and there are no seats together, at which time there should be a warning that comes up on the screen that says, guess what, Danielle? There are no seats together. You're going to have to figure something out. You're going to have to beg, borrow, or plead. And then that, in fact, is my problem, to go to the airline and to say, we booked at the last minute and it wasn't an emergency and whatever it may be, and I am at the airline's mercy. But more often than not, in my case, that hasn't been my experience. And no, I don't think it's the average traveler's responsibility. I actually saw someone comment on this particular story about this bill that may or may not be passed that would require airlines to go this extra mile and seat families together, that said, you know what, I'm a woman and I'm frequently asked to move seats to accommodate families. And it really bothers me because as a woman, it's me being asked, it's not men. And I can see that because I think people assume that women are more family friendly than men. What do you think? What are your biggest pet peeves about families and airlines, and what has your experience been like? Tell me in the comments. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.